Wait, are you gaming? On a Chromebook?
Yep. It's got a high-res 120Hz display, plus this killer RGB keyboard. And I can access thousands of games anytime, anywhere.
Stop playing.
What?
Get out of here.
Huh?
Yeah, I want you to stop playing and get out of here so I can game on that Chromebook.
Got it.
Discover the ultimate cloud gaming machine, a new kind of Chromebook.
NFL Sunday Ticket is now on YouTube and YouTube TV, which means that it just got easier to be an NFL fan, even if you live far away. Like maybe you like the Bears, but you're hibernating in Panthers territory. But with NFL Sunday Ticket, your out-of-market team is never more than a short distance away. Specifically, the distance from you to your remote control. NFL Sunday Ticket, now on YouTube and YouTube TV. Go to youtube.com/presale to get $50 off.
Terms and embargoes apply. Offer ends 9/19. No refund. Subscription auto renews.
20th Century Studios presents Vacation Friends 2. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Look at us, all together again. We just wanted to give you guys a real honeymoon.
Shots! Shots! Shots!
Now streaming.
He was just released from jail.
Where can I get a drink around here?
Back on vacation.
This place is nice. It's drug lord nice.
I'm sorry, drug lord nice?
With more baggage.
Ever since he showed up, he turned this relaxing vacation into total chaos. Who does that?
Vacation Friends 2. Rated R. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Hello and welcome to our second podcast about this year's Birdsville Races, with me, your host, Stephen Wallace. As Birdsville Races Vice President Gary Brook said in episode 218, it's probably the biggest car rally in the world. One of those on his way to Birdsville 2023 is 93-year-old Bob Potts, known as Pottsy, who is travelling 900 miles to see the Birdsville Cup with his son Reggie and daughter Lynn. In this podcast, Reggie and Pottsy talk about their plans for the epic journey to the Queensland outback. Pottsy in his turbocharged mobility scooter. This show was recorded on Monday the 21st of August, and I can confirm that Pottsy and his support team have arrived in Birdsville, ready to go racing on Friday the 1st of September. They have also met up with jockey John Keating and fellow roadie Andrew Redston, who will both be featuring in our next two shows. Hello, Reggie and Bob. Welcome to the paddock and the pavilion.
G'day, mate. How are you going?
I'm very well, thank you. On this podcast, I like inspiring stories. And tomorrow you are setting off, Reggie, with your dad, Bob, who's 93, on the epic journey to Birdsville Races in outback Queensland. Why?
Well, because we can do it. And I said when we took Pop out in 2012 and said to him, and he loved it that much. It was such a good race, and you backed the winner, Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only won.
And I said, and he enjoyed it that much. So I said to him, if you make 90, he was 82 at the time, and I said, if you make 90, I'll take you back. We'll go back to Birdsville. Well, he made 90, and they cancelled it because of COVID. Then he had to make 91. They cancelled again because of COVID. So then he had to make 92, and we got to 92. And what happened, Pop?
Yeah.
We got to Betoota.
Betoota, yeah. And the daughter said I passed out a couple of times on a Saturday morning. And then they got the
Royal Flying Doctor.
Yeah, they got the ambulance race over from the race course. And they hummed and hard, they looked, and they rang up and flying doctor. And then next thing I saw, you're going to be flying back to Charleville.
Well, we'll come on to that. We'll come back to that on this podcast. But just for listeners, we did speak off air, Reggie, but how far are you from outback Queensland and Birdsville?
Well, in kilometres, we're 1,400 but in miles, we're 900 miles.
And you live in a town called
Pittsworth, just west of Toowoomba.
That doesn't mean that much to some of our listeners. It will to many of our Australian listeners, but
okay, 2 hours west of Brisbane.
2 hours west of Brisbane. And you said you're 65, but you're not retired.
I'm semi-retired.
You drive the school bus, you said?
Yeah. I retired and I got bored. So then I decided to go back and do something a few hours a day and drive school kids.
But let's go back to 2022 when you set off for Birdsville Races. How far did you get? Just to explain how far Betoota is from your home. Well,
Betoota's 160 k's from Birdsville, so we were about 800 miles from home.
And Bob mentioned the fact that he fell unwell, and the Royal Flying Doctors, who I think are the official charity of Birdsville Races, came to your rescue.
That's exactly right. We are so indebted to the ambulance guys from Birdsville, and I'm not too sure where the other guy was from. And of course, the Royal Flying Doctor Service, who flew him out from Betoota to Charleville Hospital, which in some ways was a godsend because it poured down rain at Birdsville, so it wouldn't have been very good there at all.
Oh, it certainly rained last year at Birdsville, as we'll be hearing on this podcast. In future episodes. How unwell was Bob, or was it just a precautionary measure?
Yeah, yesterday I had a bit of trouble with my kidneys, and once I got there, I was pretty good.
He had sepsis of the kidneys, and then he had a bit of a turn, which concerned us. And then the ambulance guys said, "No, the decision. We left the decision up to them, and then they made the decision to fly him out."
And was that quite straightforward getting back?
Yeah, pretty much. There were a few logistic issues, but we got over them.
And how long was it before you were back 100%, Bob?
That's 3 days in hospital.
3 days in hospital. Yeah. Then we spent another day or two in Charleville just resting up. And then we just did a slow trip back home.
And as soon as you got back home, you were already talking about going back to Birdsville 2023?
Oh, that was his idea. That was Bob's idea. So he's determined, old buggy, Like, he might be 93, but he can be a bit pig-headed at times.
You've got to be to get to Birdsville. Now, this year you're going back. How much planning goes into the journey, or this epic journey to Birdsville in outback Queensland?
There is a fair bit of planning in the sense of that we make sure that we basically have all the bases covered. And because we're doing a story of Pottsy going to Birdsville on a turbocharged mobility scooter, and I put that last Facebook page edition on the Birdsville site, and within a day we had 130 people following him. So I think it's one of those things that the preparation is the smaller part. It's the end goal, which is what you really go for, and the fact that the old fellow's having a go and having a crack.
But you must be well stocked up with medication, different things you need in the car.
We're a mobile hospital.
That's true.
And do you know where you're going to stop each night?
Yes, we do, mate. We kick off from here on tomorrow, and we go to Muckadilla Pub, and that's halfway between Roma and Mitchell, which will mean nothing to the guys over there. Then we go from there to Quilpie, and then from Quilpie to Windora, and then Windora to Betoota.
So you're
they're staying in motel rooms all the way.
Right. Okay. So we're recording this on the 21st of August, so you're setting off on the 22nd.
22nd.
We might not know the places, the Australian listeners will, but what sort of distances are you going to cover each day?
Around about 400 to 500 k's, about 450 k's to 500 k's. No,
and presumably you're sharing the driving with your sister Lynn, who's also going.
No, Lynn's driving the mobility van with the mobility scooter in the back. And then I'm driving the Land Cruiser behind her with the camper trailer.
Right. So when you say that Bob's got the mobility scooter, is that going to be outside or?
No, it'll be. Well, we're going to make it look like he's been driving the mobility scooter the whole way. But we actually put it in the back of the van, which is in there now, ready to go. And then when we pull up at these places like Muckadilla and Quilpie, I take a little photo shot of him driving into town on his mobility scooter.
It's like one of these films, isn't it, when they're setting up, the illusion of what's really not happening. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I say. It's a turbocharged mobility scooter. It's doing massive miles in a day.
And are you worried at all about the journey, Bob?
No. Happy to worry about it. I feel better this year than I did last time.
Well, you're getting more mature. You see, you're 92 to 93. What about night times? You're staying at you said hotels, motels.
That's right.
So you got home comforts then,
except for Birdsville. Birdsville will be. That's why I'm taking the camper trailer. In Birdsville, we're camping.
You're also going to be part of the Birdsville Roadies. What's it like to be part of that? And explain to listeners what that is.
Well, from what I understand, the Roadies is a voluntary group. It's a non-profit organisation, and it's just a bunch of people that join a group, and we put stickers on the side of the cars, and we can put our posts up on the Roadie site. And I think it's just one of those communal things where people just walk up and say, well, you're part of the Roadies group, I'll talk to you. And so, yeah, we're actually looking forward to it, because last year, we of course, we didn't get there, but we're looking forward to it this year of seeing, because we saw all the cars go past with the stickers on the door, and we've got our stickers on our door, part of the Roadies group, and yeah.
And this is actually like a club, isn't it?
It's a sort of a club. It's more of a site, I suppose. But yeah, it's the Roadies. It's I think it's situated out of Melbourne, and they have benefit things like I just got an email from today that all of the information centres are behind it, and they encourage us to call into the information centres to get discounts on various items and try and promote the little towns and spend money out in the rural country areas.
Because people from all over Australia are doing the same as you, from different states, aren't they?
Exactly.
And in fact, last year on our podcast, I spoke to Andrew Redston, Gareth Davis, and the photographer Sharon Lee Chapman, who were all travelling to Birdsville. And we will be hearing again from Andrew in another podcast, because Andrew is going again in 2023. And you saw Andrew in your journey, or part journey, in 2022.
We did. We caught up with him in Windora, and he actually took a video of Pop and of driving down the road, and pulled him up and had a beer with him in Windora.
Oh, Andrew likes having a beer, doesn't he? Yeah,
he does.
He's a great chap. He's actually he asked me to send him the podcast logo. So his truck has got the Paddock and the Pavilion logo on his truck on the way to. Well, he's going to Betoota first, and then Birdsville, which you said earlier, you're going to Betoota for the races on Saturday, the 26th of August.
That's right, and it's quite a good thing, because the Betoota Hotel is celebrating their 100-year anniversary of a pub, and Pop's going to be 7 years younger than the pub.
I'm sure he'll be the oldest person in the pub.
I can guarantee it, I reckon.
So what do you think about being in a pub that's 100 years older, Bob?
I'm not worry. I like pubs. I don't care what they look like.
And you're looking forward to going to the races at Betoota. You didn't go to the races last year, did you?
No, I didn't. No, we left before that.
Yeah,
I held the races up had the ambulance away.
It was quite funny. They couldn't run the race. We held the races up for an hour because we had the ambulance tied up at the airport. So they had to delay the first race of the Betoota races because of Pottsy.
Oh, you should get a special mention then this year for Betoota races if you get there. Well, John Keating is going to be at Betoota Races, another guest on the podcast and a future guest on the podcast, and he'll be hoping to win a few races at Betoota.
Yeah, we caught up with John last year. We met him on the side of the road. We thought he was broken down, but I think he was just having a bit of a break. And it was quite funny because we'd only been talking to you earlier, and then of all people we met on the side of the road was John.
Well, that's quite ironic what you're saying there, because when John arrived at Birdsville, that's when he had trouble with his gearbox. So he did finish up having trouble with his son's car, because on the future podcast that you're going to hear on the paddock and the pavilion, John is taking a different vehicle this year because he had trouble with the gearbox last year. But after Betoota, then all roads lead to Birdsville. How excited are you about going to Birdsville Races?
Good, again, be very lovely.
Yeah, no, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to it. And Birdsville's just up the road from Betoota. Like, it's only 160k, so it's like driving down to the corner store.
Yeah, so how many days is it then, a journey from Betoota to Birdsville?
160k's.
Oh, so it's only a short journey then, yeah.
Yeah, it's just down the road.
And racing starts at Birdsville on Friday, the 1st of September, and Saturday the 2nd, and you've got the Birdsville Cup on the Saturday. What other things attract you to Birdsville?
Well, there's a lot, because they usually do a fair bit of activities in the town. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they usually have a lot of activities in the town, and you've got the Brophy's boxing tent, and then they always have sort of activities in the town, which are all fundraisers for the Royal Flying Doctor Service. And that's pretty good. They have bands at the pub, and it's a good showdown.
You're going to have a few days before the races. How many days before? 3 or 4?
No, we arrived there on Monday, so we're there. We're in Birdsville for a week, and so we'll potter around, go out to the Big Red, which is the biggest sand dune in the Simpson Desert, and we'll go and have a bit of a play around there and see if the mobility scooter can get up. And I don't think it will, because we haven't got big tyres on it. But anyway,
so I don't think I'll try.
And you're not going to go in the Fred Brophy tent then? No.
The old man might. The old fella might go in there and take him on.
Well, our other guest Andrew did last year, and he got 4 fractured ribs from going in there last year.
He did. I spoke to him about that. I said, "You blood." I said, "You're a challenging lad."
What about race days at Birdsville? What are they like?
Good. They're good. Yeah, I've been to a lot of country meetings. I used to train horses and race them, and they're just as good as meeting up there as anything I've been down here.
So you like going to the races, you two? You like going to the races?
Oh, yeah. I trained them horses, and I worked with them on a stud with breeding race horses, with the best stallion in Australia ever seen. And that's a horse called Star Kingdom.
Mm. Yeah. But I think it's the atmosphere of the Cup. It's the atmosphere of Birdsville. Yeah. It's just the bush, it's the dust, it's the wind and flies, and you just enjoy the day. And like the old fella did in 2012, I backed all the donkeys and he backed the winner.
It's certainly an event, as they say on their website, an event unlike any other.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to drive 1,000 k's, or 1,500, or 5,000, or 3,000 k's, or 1,500 miles, you're going out there not to have a good time. You're going out there to enjoy it.
Yeah, and I loved the text you sent me the other day, the quote that I'm going to read it out now, that you said, sent to me, where you said, "I just think it's great to get other older folks motivated to do something and not sit around." That's what you said?
Yeah. And that's what the idea of Pop with the mobility scooter doing this track to Birdsville. And each night I'll put something on the Facebook page and on the Birdsville site, and And I think it does. I think it's a good thing that motivates people to think that, well, I just don't sit around and vegetate. I want to get out there and do shit or do stuff.
And that's what I like doing on this podcast, getting inspiring stories. This is certainly an inspiring story. Hopefully you can then back a few winners. Follow John Keating, although he never wins at Birdsville, does he? He's still not won the Birdsville Cup. Sorry, you'll be backing him, will you?
Oh, of course. If he's not going to win, there'll be a fairly good chance my money will be on him. If there were 13 horses in the race and I backed 12 of them, I'd still lose. Whereas the old fella, he does pretty good. He backs the winners.
We better not let John Keating know if you put money on him then.
Exactly.
Well, the very best of luck on your journey. You're not worried at all about the journey then, the pair of you? And Lynn, of course. No, Lynn's the key, I guess, isn't she?
Most definitely. She's the main key in the cog.
She's keeping out of this podcast. We can't get her on, can we, or not?
Well, I'm trying to tell her, Lynn, get over here. Get over here. You want it.
Hi, how you going?
I'm very well, thank you. Now, I understand from Reggie and Bob, you're the key to the whole operation.
Yes, they couldn't do anything without me.
And you won't be putting lots of money on horses, though. You're just the person who's going to keep making sure these two are safe.
Oh, no. I'll definitely have a bet too. I'm pretty lucky if I do. I don't bet very often, but when I do, it's not bad.
Well, from what I hear, you don't want to follow Reggie.
No, definitely not. If he backs it, I won't.
Well, look after the pair of them, Lynn, won't you?
So this is the support team for Pottsy.
This is the support team. Is that what you are? Is it? Yeah.
Well, we're the support team.
Well, I hope. I seriously hope everything goes according to plan, and it's not like last year when you had to make that detour back from Betoota. So I hope you get beyond Betoota to Birdsville, and also the journey back, because it's still, as you say, 900 miles home. You must send us some. Well, we'll see some photos on your Facebook page. Also, look out for Andrew Redston, because he's going to have the paddock and the pavilion logo on the back of his truck.
We'll catch up with him in Betoota.
I'm sure you'll see him in Betoota in the pub, of course. That's going to be a special place. The anniversary of the pub. Have they got a celebration? Have they?
Yeah. No, they got a big night, and Lynn and Dad are actually staying in the pub.
Oh, you're not staying in the pub, are you?
Yeah, those two are, and I'm probably going to be camping out in the wilderness.
Oh right. Oh, you got the short straw there, didn't you?
Well, I don't know. She's going to be a big night on Saturday night, which I'll be part of. These two will be sleeping.
Well, thank you very much, the three of you, for being on the paddock and the pavilion. And I say, all roads lead to Birdsville.
That's right. That's it, mate.
Sports Social Podcast Network.